What's up, everyone? Welcome to Silence Your Cell Phones, everyone's favorite movie podcast. I'm Jarrett, here with my favorite friend and cohort, Kevin.
Hello. I'm here.
Kevin,
Yes.
welcome to another week.
Yes. Another week. Well, it was a good previous week. And,
Yes.
It's been nice.
Yeah, what'd you get into?
So, I got into a few things.
Okay.
Which I wrote down in my notes that I have right here.
So official.
So I watched The Silent Sea, right?
Okay.
Fun fact, Jared, I get in these modes where I watch like anime in spurts, and I kind of binge pretty hard.
Yeah.
I actually watched the first like 20 or 25 episodes of OG Naruto.
Okay.
That was cool. Because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I try to go watch a bunch of those episodes every now and again.
Yep.
I caught up on like 7 or 8 episodes of One Piece. I watched an episode of Peacemaker, which was awesome.
That show.
Yeah, it was great. I saw a couple episodes of Food Wars. I saw The Godfather.
Okay.
And I saw Knives Out. And The Godfather, of course, is everyone's a critic. And Knives Out was the movie that you gave me to watch last week. So
nice.
I did that. Yeah. So that was pretty much what I got into this week. So it was pretty chill. Nice little TV anime week for me. What about that? What about you?
So I kind of got into the same thing. I kind of go in these waves of where I really want to watch anime, then waves where I don't really want to watch anime. And with binge worthy, the past couple weeks have been no anime. So I tried to catch up on a bunch of stuff like that. So it's a big anime week for me. I caught up on Demon Slayer, started rewatching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Nice.
Started watching a show called Horimiya, which is like a slice of life. Really, really fun. Really good show. I watched Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Nice.
Which was my mystery movie. I watched 12 Angry Men, which was my classics movie. And then last night I watched Midnight in Paris, which is a Owen Wilson movie that was on Netflix.
Nice.
Which had a actually insane cast once I actually started the movie. So
I like Owen Wilson. I
do. Yeah, it was one of those like came out 10 years ago, had some pretty good reviews, and then you start watching it and like Rachel McAdams in it, Tom Hiddleston, Kathy Bates.
Oh wow.
Adrian Brody. You're like every other scene is someone you're not expecting to see into it.
Yeah, but Owen Wilson low key had like kind of a big period of time where he was doing a lot of movies, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I think he's one of the more underrated comedic actors out. Now I'm not gonna watch. I probably will not watch Marry Me.
Huh?
So, I mean, probably not.
No,
but I do like Owen Wilson. So
yeah, no, I think this was probably the best movie I've seen him in. Definitely the coolest premise. A really cool premise for a movie. Awesome soundtrack. I really suggest it. I think it's his best movie.
Nice.
At least that I've seen.
Yeah, and I know for a fact you watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood like once a year.
So, once a year, yeah.
Yeah, that's getting that in.
Yeah, it never gets old.
The perfect.
Yeah, still gets me in the heartstrings. So, and I will.
There's nothing sad about that show.
Yeah, so I'll take it on the chin this time. I watched some of the Silent Sea.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
Sure.
And we'll get into that when we get into binge worthy. But yeah, so big anime week for me.
Sounds good. Sounds like you had a busy week, and it was. I think it was more relaxing than anything this week. I had sort of. I'm not gonna say it was an epiphany. Okay.
Okay.
But I did watch The Godfather.
Yeah.
and I know a lot of you guys are excited to hear what I have to say about it. So we'll get into that shortly. I just want you guys to know that the title of the show is Kevin Was Wrong. And
I'm so excited for them to get the whole story behind this, though. It really sums up you.
Yeah,
In a nutshell.
It really is. It's me in a nutshell. And you know what? I've accepted it. I've owned it. I will continue to progress, evolve, and move on, and hopefully not make that mistake again.
I respect it.
Yeah. So, what did you want to do first? Like, how did you want to go about this?
If you want to go ahead and knock out binge-worthy, I know. I think it's easier just to get that through because I'm not going to have a ton to add. So I'm going to kind of let you spearhead a Silent C.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, A Silent C was made by the same people that did Squid Games. I've actually got it pulled up on IMDb right now. It got decent reviews. So far it's a 6.9 out of 10. So right at a 7 out of 10, which is probably what I would have given it.
Yeah.
Not as good, obviously, as Squid Games. It didn't have the same impact on a global scale. I thought that the acting was very strong. I really enjoyed the plot. I don't know, Jarrett. I don't know that that's something that you particularly enjoyed.
It's the plot was interesting.
Yeah,
but for me, sci-fi, I'm either all in or all out. I'm not going to say that I dislike sci-fi because I don't think that's necessarily true.
Okay.
But I don't like all of sci-fi.
Okay.
Like Star Wars, love it. Star Trek, hate it. So the whole needing to find water on moon mission. Yeah. And then it just kind of spiraled into, kind of like a aliens type thing.
Right.
And it just wasn't really my thing. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a bad show because it's, if you like stuff like that, you'll probably enjoy the show a lot. I probably would have liked it more as an anime than a live action thing.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That's actually a neat idea to do with that. For those of you that didn't get to watch it or haven't heard of it, The Silent Sea is basically a movie that's set in the future. Our oceans and rivers and stuff on Earth has dwindled. We have a limited supply of water. The oceans are now like deserts. So they're essentially looking for a way to mass produce water or find water. And they found a solution on the moon. And so the main character is a scientist who handles stuff like that, the astro something or other. I'm not sure how it. Anyways, so basically they have to go get these samples from a base and bring them back. Well, what they're not told is that, or they're not told the truth about, was that there was an accident on this base where they couldn't actually get the samples back in the first place. And so it was a pseudo, not rescue mission, but like, what's it called when you like you go to observe something? Like they had to see what was going on, like the situation on the base. So you know what I'm talking about? Essentially, they had to just go like check out the actual base and
like reconnaissance.
Yeah, like a recon mission. Thank you. And they find out that not all the details are lining up and that they've been lied to, and so there's a lot that goes on with the plot of this show. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun watch. It was something that I think I might have expected a little more because of the success of Squid Games. And that's not fair to the show because it's still a good show. But at the end of the day, like that was kind of why I chose to watch the show. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Squid Games benefited because it had that like shock value of, the murder game.
Right.
and that's hasn't really been shown in American television as often. So I think Squid Games definitely had that shock value where this is a more stereotypical sci-fi adventure.
Right. Yeah. And it was. I was telling Jared earlier. It was very difficult for me to overcome the main character being somebody I despised in Squid Games. It
Yeah,
was the really annoying chick from Squid Games that was like nobody wanted her on their team, like that chick.
yeah.
It was very difficult not to just hate the show starting out. Like truly.
It's crazy how you can get locked down on like one actor being one character for the rest of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because the other guy, the guy, the bigger guy from Squid Games, you remember the one that was like kind of a bully?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was actually a super good dude in this show. And all I could think was like, they're really talented.
Yeah.
They really are talented for me to go, man, I really just it's so
actually,
hard to like
I
you
actually hate you.
because I still hate you from the last show that you did. Jerk.
That's how I feel with like Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Draco Malfoy?
Yeah.
To this day, I can't stand his face.
Yeah.
Like if I saw Draco Malfoy in public, what's his real name? I don't.
Tom Felton.
Yes, thank you. If I saw Tom Felton in public right now, I would draw back my fist. Probably.
I doubt that.
Like I can't stand the guy.
You'd probably actually ask for an autograph.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
I feel like I do.
So do you think I'm the type of person that would be starstruck if I saw like a celebrity?
I think it depends on the celebrity.
If I saw Will Smith right now and just walk by.
You'd be a little starstruck.
Yeah, I would. I told you about the time I ran into Eagle McMahon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't throw two words in a sentence together. Like,
Or did I? No, I get it.
I said Eagle. Hey, man. And that was it. I couldn't.
Dude, when I saw Vincent Chase in Utah, when I was wearing my Entourage shirt.
No way.
Dude, it was probably
That's so cool.
The giddiest I've ever been because he acknowledged me.
You're wearing a shirt?
Yeah, it was like an eyesight test, and it was like E-R-E turtle.
Vincent, I know the shirt you're talking about.
Yeah. And so I don't know what happened to it. I think it got lost when I was moving one time. But he was like, oh, dude, nice shirt. Because I had just watched the Sundance episode of Entourage the day before I left for Sundance.
Wait, was he there for Sundance?
Yeah. I guess he had a film.
So cool,
but
man.
he landed he was in the baggage claim of Salt Lake City's airport the same time we were. And like all the girls get super quiet.
Right.
And I'm over there like, holy shit, it's Vincent Chase.
That should have been the title of our show.
I do just like screaming like a little schoolgirl, dude. And he had like 3 baddies with him, and I was like, you are exactly who I wanted you to be in real life. Adrian Grenier. Thank you for making my dream come true.
That's awesome. I'd never heard that story. I had no idea.
Dude, like and that wasn't me like exclaiming in my head, like in the airport, I yelled.
Like verbally out
enough to embarrass everyone that was with me, but I didn't care because for those of you who don't know, Entourage is probably one of my favorite shows of all time.
Ari Gold's probably one of the greatest characters ever made in anything.
Absolute classic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was like, I say I would act cool when I meet people I like, but I don't.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. Then maybe it's a good thing I haven't heard back from Christian Harloff or Mark Ellis.
Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis. Big fans.
Huge fans.
Watch your stuff every week.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So back to the Silent Suit. We got off on a tangent.
Big tangent.
But no, I think the show is definitely binge worthy. I think it hinges on whether or not you're a fan of the genre.
Yeah.
Because I think for the genre, they do a really good job. The acting's strong. The captain, I can't remember his name. and I probably will butcher it. Oh, nice and easy. June Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Look, when we were trying to pronounce their names
Dude,
in Squid Game,
it.
it was a nightmare, right?
I get it.
No, June Lee was, I think, I think he was the strongest actor in the show. And he did a really good job playing like the no nonsense captain who had good morals and wanted to do the right thing and protect his crew. That was his priority, and you could tell it was his priority throughout. And
Right.
I appreciated the job he did in the role. So
did you watch Squid Games dubbed or subbed?
Oh, I watched it. I didn't know there was a subbed option. Like, I always have subtitles on my Netflix, so it was automatically dubbed.
Okay, yeah.
But I keep subtitles anyways.
Right, but you didn't watch it in Korean?
No, I prefer to watch things in Korean. Like, I prefer to watch them with their natural voices.
Right, because I heard Squid Games was better if you watched it in Korean. I watched it dubbed, and the dubbing was pretty awful.
It was bad, but it was kind of humorous at times
yeah,
too. Like,
I mean, you kind of get connected. So I was just wondering if you watched Silent Sea in Korean or was it dubbed as well?
I watched it dubbed. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the only, I didn't look for a subbed option. I didn't know that was a thing. So
I think you can change the language to Korean and
I'll have
just
to
watch it with subtitles anyway.
Yeah. I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
So, because the American voices, like one of the biggest sticklers for Squid Games was that the voices just didn't match.
No, at
the
all.
Character.
It's like they just didn't ever try.
And the screaming, I'll never forget the bathroom scene of that girl screaming.
Dude.
The main character in this show couldn't stand it. Awful.
Almost made me not finish Squid Games. Like that one bathroom scene, I was like, I can't.
It was tragic. It was horrible.
If it's 5 more episodes of this girl screaming, like I'll kill myself.
But yeah, so I would say it's binge worthy. Again, if you like the genre, if that's something that you're into, for sure, give it a try.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Silent Sea.
Nice.
And I enjoyed it. I did. I had a good time.
Good.
So, anyways, I think though we should hop into.
Well, first, before we hop into the movies, I don't know if it's going to be the next couple weeks or just next week, depending on how long or how invested we get. But we have fallen in the trap of not getting to finish these shows that we say are binge worthy.
Yes.
Because we're moving on to another show almost instantly.
It is instantly. Literally the next week.
Yeah, it's not even almost. So it's like my family has watched all of Yellowstone, and I'm the one that told them to watch Yellowstone. But I've only seen the season and a half of Yellowstone because I moved on to Succession or whatever the next show was almost immediately after that.
Yeah, Lock and Key, Succession.
Yeah, Lock and Key. So there's a bunch of shows that we have not finished that, quite honestly, instead of picking a new show, we would like to continue to watch. So at least for the next week, there's not going to be a single show for binge worthy. We're going to go back and kind of try to catch up on some stuff. And then we can talk about, if Kevin wants to finish Yellowstone and I end up finishing Succession, we can talk about whatever we watch to catch up on. But the whole purpose was saying if a show is binging, and we haven't gotten to binge them.
Yeah, which was like the whole purpose of the show in the first place, because that's what we do. We love watching shows. And so, like, in order to get you guys new content, we choose a new show to watch. So, like, we're so focused on trying to get you guys good content that we're actually not getting to binge the shows that we want to binge. So we're just going to take the week. All right, go back, watch some of the stuff that we've been wanting to watch for a while, because I'm with you on Yellowstone. People talk about it in the office, and I'm like, nah, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
I get so pissed off because, like, last week, Lauren was like, I want to watch Yellowstone because I listened to your podcast. I was like, cool. And then she texted me. She was like, yeah, I finished it. And I was like, well, damn, I'm the only one in my family that hasn't seen Yellowstone. And I told everyone to watch Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So,
yikes.
Yeah. Big yikes.
That's tough. Okay. So just for the week, we're going to do that. And of course, next week on Binge Worthy, we're going to discuss the different shows we've watched. I'm thinking about watching season 2 of the what's the show with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
True Detective.
True Detective. I want to watch season 2 of True Detective. I've heard it's a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
The research I've done, but I do want to see and get into it because I've heard they're bringing Woody and McConaughey back for season 3 or 4.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
That would be sweet. So, we're gonna take the week, watch some shows from the past, and then
we're gonna get to binge.
Yeah, we're gonna do some binging.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it looks like it's just a solo show, boys. I made it, Mom.
Here we are.
Oh man, darn.
You wish.
It's funny because you left the screen and I'm like, man, I could not do this by myself. And then you came back and I was like, man, that Jarrett's one good looking cat,
Yeah, things have never been said about me.
I couldn't do it without you because essentially you're the face of the operation.
That is a scary thought.
Right. And I think I could be like the voice, which is even scarier.
That is true.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Anyways. So yeah.
I can appreciate it. No, that was everything I had for binge worthy.
All right. So binge worthy segment out of the way. Let's go ahead and talk about, do you want to discuss our Everyone's a Critic, or do you want to discuss our movie of the week?
I would like to end with Everybody's a Critic because
of course you would. Yeah.
That deserves.
I think I should go last for that. So I'm going to go.
That deserves the slow burn that it is.
I'll go.
So you need to go first on your movie of the week if you're going last.
Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you what I watched this week, guys. I saw Knives Out, and I'm gonna pull this up. As Jarrett knew that I wanted to watch Knives Out because I told him that I wanted to watch Knives Out early on. I didn't think he'd give it to me, but he did because he's a gracious host and a wonderful person. I had heard so many good things about this movie, and I actually had the plot all wrong in my head. I thought it was a movie about a family that loved murder mystery games, that they, I know what you're thinking of. Okay?
I just can't with you, man.
I'm bad with look,
the way you see the world and the way the world works it's a beautiful thing.
Anyways, no, this movie was not at all what I thought, but it was phenomenal. I loved it. I didn't know how much I needed to hear Daniel Craig with a Cajun accent.
Yeah.
Right. Because that blew my mind. Right. A British actor with a very thick Cajun,
a strong
accent.
Cajun accent. Yeah.
And it was, I'm not gonna lie, I am pleasantly surprised. It was thick, right? I think it was a little thicker than it needed to be. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate his accent.
No, I think it matched his character. It was thick. It was embellished.
It was over the top.
His character was a little over the top, though.
Right. It was. And so it was just this really good story. Essentially, it's a whodunit type deal. Now the entire time, so we know what happens early. I don't want to spoil anything. Is that a thing? Am I?
No.
Do I need to say?
I mean, there's a murder, I think.
Right. There's a murder. You kind of know what's happened, what's led to the death of the grandfather or father, the patriarch of the family. And you really empathize. The main character of this movie is actually his nanny or his nurse.
His caretaker.
Yeah, she takes, and she's just this really sweet, genuine, good-hearted, kind-natured person. and you realize that she could very well be on the hook for murder. And this whole movie, you're just like really rooting for her to overcome that.
Well, especially because there's not a redeeming person in that family.
No, they were horrible.
They're people. All awful, and they all have their own motives.
Yeah, she was like the shining light, like the shining. She was the star at the top of the Christmas tree, you know?
Yeah.
That's what she was in this movie. She was awesome. But she was also, I think her mom might have been an illegal immigrant, or she wasn't. I forget what it's called. Words are difficult. But yeah, you're just really rooting for her to overcome what's happening, and then you find out that there was a reason why things went down the way they did, and it's just this plot twist that I thought was perfectly executed. The cast in this movie is pretty nutty.
I actually love Chris Evans.
If you're into Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, I don't know who Ana de Armas is. She was the main character though, but she was phenomenal. Yeah, Christopher Plummer. Like there was some A-listers in the movie, without question. But yeah, it was really cool, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. A lot of fun to watch. Daniel Craig, Cajun accent,
dude,
can't get enough.
You know, I love Daniel Craig. I also like Daniel Craig when he's not James Bond, and that's how I feel about Chris Evans. Like I forget how much I actually enjoy Chris Evans as an actor. And
when
not just Chris Evans, Captain America.
Yeah.
Because like everything Chris Evans does outside of Captain America, I've really enjoyed. So if people are looking for like a filmography to look into for people you probably haven't watched outside of his A-list stuff, Chris Evans is one to go to.
Did you get the Free Guy question right for Movie Trivia Schmodown? They had asked about
as soon as they said Chris Evans, I knew it was Free Guy.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I just had to ask.
Yeah.
I felt proud of myself for that.
Yeah, anytime I get a question right, I feel pretty good about myself.
Right.
So
but no, highly recommend it. If you haven't seen the movie, it's phenomenal. I'll watch it again.
I think they're supposed to be doing a sequel.
They are. I saw literally the day after I watched the movie, there was an article I read online that said Knives Out 2 coming, sometime this year, next year.
Yeah, COVID probably screwed up a bunch of stuff, so we'll get it eventually. But it made a lot of money, so I'm not surprised that they're doing a second one.
Yeah, it was great. But I did give you a movie.
Yes, you gave me Zodiac.
I did.
A movie that I had seen before, but it was fun to rewatch.
Cool.
Jake Gyllenhaal is a detective or a writer. And then he is trying to decipher, it's based on a true story, the Zodiac killer. So this guy, I don't know if it ever actually got broken, but a guy would commit a murder and he would leave essentially a note behind, and it was written in code. And they don't ever decipher the code. And so this guy essentially is just, it's kind of almost like Jack the Ripper-esque, well known for his murders, but never caught. I personally think they knew who did it, but when these killings were taking place back in the 70s, they didn't have the technology to pin it on somebody. Like the Zodiac killer left blood at one of the scenes, but they didn't have a blood database that they could run and match stuff with. So it's like the killings were super sloppy, but he just got benefited from the time period which he did it in, just like Jack the Ripper in 1920 or whatever, 1800 England.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have anyone, unless they see you do it, you're basically free to walk. But back to the movie, it's essentially the obsession that Jake Gyllenhaal gets in trying to solve this murder. Like he loses his wife, loses his kids. Like it is the only thing that takes up his time. And it's kind of like his spiral into craziness.
Right.
And how frustrating it's like a big cat and mouse game. And how they kind of imply he finds out who it is, but can't pin it on him, which is the biggest like middle finger you can give to someone who's obsessed with catching somebody. It's just like, yeah, he probably did it, but not enough evidence. So
right.
He's free to go. Great cast. Young Robert Downey Jr. Who else was that? There's another big name.
Oh, we talked about this last week.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Yeah, it got a 89 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Probably a little higher than what I would give it. I was going to give it like a 3.5 to a 4.
Yeah, it's you got to think about the time period too. Like that, I guess that's true. Like 99 or something. So
it's not that old, is it?
I feel like it. Is it not?
2007.
07.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I mean, it's pushing 20.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a really good murder mystery. It's more of a follow along, not a try to solve it yourself type thing. Right. Because the nature of, I mean, I think they did one of those like what happens after the story blurbs at the end of the movie, and they were talking about like UC Berkeley has a class specifically on deciphering the Zodiac code.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, it was a big deal in that line of work. I think Jake Gyllenhaal plays such a good, crazy person. Like there's a couple movies where he kind of plays the same role of someone who gets obsessed with his work and kind of spirals between reality and his world. And I think he does a phenomenal job when he gets to play that character.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, I think Jake Gyllenhaal is extremely talented and very underrated as an actor, because he's been good for a long time.
Pretty much since Donnie Darko.
Yeah, so like he gives us banger after banger, great movie after great movie, and I don't think he gets the recognition that he deserves. He is a phenomenal talent.
Yeah, he does some weird stuff.
He does. He's got a very different vibe about him.
Yeah.
But like that, I feel like that's his like niche. That's his thing. He
does it very well.
So, yeah.
So yeah, Zodiac, good movie. Highly suggested to anyone who is in all the murder mystery people. I think this is like right up your alley of, because basically you really don't ever know if you solved it or not. So
that's tough.
Yeah, it's all.
That's tough to deal with.
Who done it?
Done it. And so since this is the last episode that we'll do in the month of January, that'll be the last murder mystery theme that we do. So February. Do you want to talk about what we've got going on for February?
Yeah, February should be pretty obvious. Romance, chick flicks,
rom-coms.
I don't know if that's politically correct to say anymore, but
they're chick flicks.
Yeah, romantic comedies.
Yeah,
things that you guiltily like. I've been looking forward to this month for a long time.
I have too. I feel like Jared and I, we're going to learn a lot about each other this month.
The whole world's going to learn a lot about Jared and Kevin.
So. Maybe some things that we didn't know prior will come to light. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting world that we live in, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. Yeah. So yeah, romance, rom-com, chick flick, however you want to decide what it's called.
I already know the answer to this question, but do you have a movie for me for next week?
Of course, I have prepared a movie for you, Jarrett. The movie is a classic. Little Mel Gibson. What Women Want. Yeah.
I love it.
So there you go. What Women Want from me to you.
Thank you.
It's a banger. So you're welcome.
Who doesn't love Mel Gibson?
All right. What do you got for me? Do you have one for me?
Yeah, this one is probably the world's greatest love story.
Okay.
And this one comes to you.
Oh, I know what it is. Wait.
What is it?
It's the movie with the hooker
No.
and the Playboy.
No.
You know what movie I'm talking about?
I mean, Pretty Woman.
Yeah, Pretty Woman. Yeah,
I mean, that is a great movie, but that is not the world's greatest love story.
Well, I thought you were being facetious, Jared.
No,
I'm sorry.
No.
All right, lay it on me. What do you got?
Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
That actually is Lauren Hubbard's favorite movie.
Okay. Is that Scarlett Johansson or
no? Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley. That's who it is.
I watched it when we had our sisters pick our movies for the week a long time ago.
Yes.
And it honestly might be one of my favorite movies.
All
right. Yeah, little culture for you.
Yeah. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Keira Knightley's great.
Yeah, I've seen it for sure. So it'll be fun to rewatch that one. I think you're going to be surprised at the amount of these movies that I've actually watched.
I think we might surprise each other. Because
growing up in a house with like you, two women, you know, it's a part of what you do. Sometimes you got to suffer through some.
You do have to sacrifice
through some rom-coms, and sometimes you're not actually suffering.
Yes. Sometimes you put on a facade.
Yeah, sometimes you're suffering, but you're not. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's my movie for you. I will watch Pride and Prejudice, and we will come back next week and we will discuss those movies. But now it's time for what I look forward to, I think, the most now. And that's
everybody's a critic. Keep that thing on me.
Yes. Super cool. Again, thanks, Dan McGlone.
Yes.
For this fantastic idea. I love it. Jared, we're going to let you start since I kind of have a big one.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm so excited for yours.
Yeah, I bet.
So I did 12 Angry Men. For those of you who didn't catch last week's episode, we do Everyone's a Critic, 52-week movie challenge. Each week it gives you a prompt. You pick the movie based off the prompt, and then it has a bunch of questions you go over. This is week number 2 we're doing it, and it is the category was a classic. I picked 1957's 12 Angry Men. It got 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. It is the second highest rated courtroom drama on Rotten Tomatoes behind To Kill a Mockingbird, which, a classic in its own.
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest books ever written. It's 96 minutes. Henry Fonda was in it, Jane Fonda's dad. It didn't win any awards, which I found very surprising because it said that originally it flopped in America, but did really well internationally. And then I guess had a renaissance.
Resurgence.
A renaissance when people actually went back to watch it. I'd never seen it before. Basically, the entire movie takes place in a juror's room. I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but there's 12 people on a jury. They are a part of a murder case for an 18-year-old who supposedly stabbed his dad. And the movie kind of starts with them going to decide a verdict, guilty, non-guilty. And at the beginning, it seems like a pretty open and closed case. Yeah, they found his murder weapon. Someone saw him stab him. Someone heard him and saw him run away. So we're just all going to vote guilty and we'll go home. One guy was really worried about making it to a Yankees game. And so 11 out of the 12 vote guilty. One guy votes not guilty, Henry Fonda's character. None of them actually have names. They're just credited as their juror number. So juror 1, 2, 3. And then the story kind of unfolds about this one guy convincing 11 other people that this kid might not be guilty or might be not guilty. And it's a really big character study. I think it shows a lot through dialogue and people's prejudices towards certain things that make them believe he's guilty or not guilty. And then seeing them overcome their own prejudices and kind of switch sides to this not guilty verdict was very interesting to me. It only takes there's only 3 sets in the entire movie. It's like a bathroom, the courtroom, and the juror's office. So it's a very simple film. And I think one of the things on here was, can you name modern films that have some of these same elements? I think a lot of our modern day indie movies like Power of the Dog kind of steal what this movie was trying to do, was tell the entire narrative was emotion. So I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really good. I suggest it for anyone who's trying to go through classic movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you enjoyed it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like 96 minutes is really fast. Yeah. So it's not like it's overly long, but having a bunch of people like, oh, well, this kid grew up in the slums, so he obviously killed his dad. And one guy were like, oh, I grew up in a not so great neighborhood, and not all kids from there are murderers. And then just go.
Sounds like something that could be applied to today's climate.
Yeah, it's very much because I mean the guy who says not guilty is like, I'm like, y'all, I think he could very well be guilty, but we have to do our due diligence and at least talk about this for an hour before we can just sentence someone. Because back then it was, okay, he's getting the chair. Yeah. Like it was a death sentence. So everyone just wanted to get home, get it done with. And this guy just took his time. And I think the question was like, what's your favorite memorable quote? And one guy says, it takes a great deal of courage to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. And so this one guy standing up to 12 other dudes who are pissed off because they don't want to be there.
Right.
So it says a lot about his character.
Sure. Who did you identify with the most? I know it's one of the questions, so that's why I'm asking, but which of the characters, jurors, did you identify with the most, you think?
Juror number 3. If you haven't seen the movie, it's really kind of hard. He was the most hard-headed out of them. Like, he was hell-bent on this kid being guilty because he had issues with his son, right, and who was around the same age. So I could say, like, I'm pretty hard-headed. And so, like, him being able to take a step back and admit why he was wrong and then change his point of view. I like to think I do that. If people have argued with me and I don't do that, maybe something I need to work on.
That's a good thought, though. I mean, I think the premise behind what you're saying makes sense, that, you've got the ability to maybe take a step back, even when you might not be in the right, to look and say, you know what, I was wrong, or I approached it incorrectly, or whatever the case is.
That which character do you identify with, I think, is on every prompt. And like, I didn't want to be the typical, like, oh, I identify as the guy who stood up to everyone and is the shining beacon of light and everything like that in every movie, because everyone wants to think they're the hero of the story. And like, realistically, like,
they're the main character.
If I got called to jury duty and I didn't want to be there, and it seemed like all the facts said this kid was guilty, I'd want to get the hell out of there too. Yeah. And not give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'd probably, because like, this was the very last guy that changed his mind. Like, the entire movie, the movie ended for like 5 minutes after this guy like broke down. Really? Yeah. Oh. And so like, they spend all this whole time, like, he's like visibly angry that, like, why the hell would you guys not think this kid's guilty? Right. Like, and so him being like ostracized, I could definitely see. see something that I would do if I was in that same situation. So
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I actually do not have. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, I was pulling up the YouTube, the chat thing. No, that's really cool that a movie that was made in 1957.
yes, and then it was remade in
97. I think we talked about it before.
Yeah,
It was remade in like 97, but
in '97. I didn't watch the '97 version. Yeah, so I can't really speak on that one, but I'm assuming if it was good enough to get a remake, then
yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. It sounds like a good movie. I'll have to take some time and watch that at some point. In the meantime, if you're okay with it, I would like to discuss something that's very important to a lot of people, and that is my review of The Godfather.
yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I got a call from my boss, so I'm just answering his text.
Oh no, you're good. We got work lives too. So for those of you who know me, who followed the show, once upon a time, I said the following. I said that I stopped watching The Godfather shortly after starting it. Now, I did do those things. And here's why. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I turned on a film, and what I got was a bunch of still life photos that were basically one after the next with no dialogue, a little tune in the back. And it was like the first 15 minutes. And I hated it. And I was under the impression that that was Godfather. And it was something that I would just never get. Okay. At some point, because I've heard the quotes, and all I could think was, yeah, I'm sure at some point it turns into an actual movie, but I didn't enjoy the slideshow presentation I got to start it off, and I hated it. So I told myself for this review, I would sit down, I would watch The Godfather, and I would give it an honest review where I would watch the entire thing. So Jarrett has The Godfather on his Vudu.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Jarrett's Vudu and I clicked The Godfather. And the very first scene, like an actual scene, pops up. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is not The Godfather. What am I watching right now? And it turns out that I did not either picked the wrong movie, I clicked on something incorrectly. I don't know. What I watched was not actually The Godfather.
I want to know what you watched.
I do too, and I'm gonna look and see if I can find it. It's definitely an older movie, and I have absolutely no idea what it was because this whole time I thought it was The Godfather. I have no idea what I watched, so we'll see what happens. The actual Godfather for Will Lazenby, Dane McGlone. There were some other people too, right, Jared? Give me some names here. Who did I think?
Everybody on planet Earth.
Cody Studoff, Jarrett Hubbard,
Scott Hubbard.
You didn't tell your dad, did you?
Of course I told my dad.
Oh, man. He probably thinks I'm the worst person. Okay. The Godfather is a phenomenal film. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. It was 2 hours and 56 minutes long. Made in 1972. Still holds up to this day. I did not know that I would like it as much as I did. Truly, I really didn't. Because even when I started watching it, I had my doubts, right? I'm like, it's not the same movie, but like, how good could it be? How good could it be? There were so many iconic lines in this film that are like truly iconic, right?
Yeah.
I was blown away by the screenplay. I think the acting was sublime, but the writing, the writer of this movie was Mario Puzo, and the director Francis Ford Coppola.
Coppola.
And they did phenomenal. They won an Oscar for screenplay, and it was well deserved. That was my favorite part of the movie. I think it was the most captivating part was the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, it was just cool, man. It was just a cool film.
Yeah.
Like all those guys and their personalities, and you got this family. So for those of you who don't know, the Godfather is essentially a guy who's like a mafioso, underground boss, Don, right?
He's the head of the house,
right. And he's got a lot of pull with some of the politicians in the city, people in power, police officers. And so you've got a bunch of people that want help from Vito. I forget how to say his last name.
Corleone. Yeah.
And so this movie is essentially about him handling different situations that arise that comes with the power, and him passing the mantle down to his son, and some of the other things that their family goes through that leads Michael to kind of take the position as head of the family. And it was a really, really good movie. So awards received, I'll go through this like I did last week. It did receive 3 Oscars with there was 30 nominations for other awards and Oscars. But the 3 that won it were Best Picture, leading actor for Marlon Brando, and screenplay, which I thought was deserved. However, I don't know if you know this, and I found this out. I was doing some research. Al Pacino boycotted the Oscars that year because he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he thought he deserved a nod for Best Actor as a co-star.
I think you can make that argument.
I absolutely think you can.
I mean, as much as like Marlon Brando's character was like the Godfather, I think it is Michael's story.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marlon Brando's character, like in the film, he gets shot. He's kind of off picture for a while.
Yeah.
So you really get a lot of Michael and his brothers and some other people. So you don't get as much Marlon Brando. But I will say this, Marlon Brando's monologues were just like,
oh, they're second to none.
Yeah, bro. His performance was phenomenal.
Like that movie starts with one of the most iconic scenes in movie history.
Yeah. It does.
Like
I've seen it before. Like I've seen that recreated on so many other like medias, like TV shows, movies.
Yeah, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. It's not like you get that halfway through the film. That's like the first scene.
Yeah, I love that they repeat it too. I love it. There's so many iconic lines. Truly. Would I recommend this film? Yes, it was a great film, one of the highest rated films of all time, and I see why now, justified. Which character was I most able to identify or connect with, and in what way? So, I really liked Michael's character. In the way that he seems more protective of his family than Vito Corleone was. Because I'm like very like overly protective of my family. So that's one of those things that I identified with a little more. I didn't really identify with any of them. like because I have no idea what it's like to be
I could
in
see you
a
as
crime
Sonny.
syndicate. You know what I mean?
I could pick
Sonny?
you for Sonny. Yeah.
Sonny?
Yeah. You got a temper, bro.
Sometimes.
And dude, if someone ever laid hands on your sister, I could definitely see you going over there and beating the shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would. That is a fact. I wouldn't call that having a temper. I would say that's a pretty reasonable response to that sort of behavior.
Yeah, but look.
I wouldn't necessarily saying he's flying off the handle for that. You know what I mean?
Look.
That is justified behavior.
I'm just saying it's justified, but I'm just saying I could definitely hear you. I mean, you would get caught in the same trap.
Yeah, it's possible.
You would get caught at the toll booth. Get lit up.
They shot him like 38, 40 times, bro.
Billion times, bro.
He was dead. Like they made that mistake with Vito Corleone. Like they made that mistake, right? Where they didn't shoot enough, they didn't put enough rounds into him.
Yeah, they let him live.
So they were like, nah, we're not doing that with this cat. We're gonna shoot him 100 times. Easy. Gone.
Yeah, 5 people, 5 Tommy guns, all sides.
Yeah. No, so okay, I can see it. So best line or memorable quote. There were so many to choose.
It's too many.
Okay. Like the one where he's talking about it's a message saying that what's his name, swimming with the fishes.
Yeah.
And made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He put a gun to his head and he said either your brains are going to be on the paper or the ink is going to be on the paper. My favorite line of the movie was leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Take the cannoli.
Yeah. Like what? Dude, who thinks of that? Who thinks of that? What a great line. You know, he just gets done killing the guy that like was the whole reason why Vito got shot, apparently. They blamed him anyways. And so they killed him. And the guy's just like, yeah, leave the gun, take the cannoli. Like, what? That's some straight up Italian mobster style stuff I've ever heard it, bro. Yeah, that was crazy. It was really cool though. The way it was delivered was perfect. Was I surprised by the ending? What would I do differently? So for me, because I'd never seen it, I don't know the ending. I didn't know it. I was surprised Vito died.
Yeah.
I thought he would stay on as the consigliere for Michael in their time of war, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the whole thing about demoting the lawyer guy, the previous consigliere to lawyer.
Yeah.
So I thought they would keep that on. They didn't. He died. He had like a heart attack with his grandson in the garden or whatever. I was not surprised at Michael's rampage.
No, I think the ending's probably one of the best parts of the movie. He's like going to his son's christening while they're just out slaughtering. Yeah,
and he didn't. I mean, lost no sleep. Didn't even care. He
no.
He offed his sister's husband. Like
power move.
Yeah, and he made him feel like he was gonna live, which I thought was crazy. I was like, "There's no way he lives, right? Like, there's no way he's not about to get on this plane." And then he doesn't.
No, he does not make it on the plane.
Like he just gets to the car, and that's the last place he gets to.
End of his story.
Yeah. Yeah, but that didn't surprise me. I fully expected Michael to go on a rampage. And he did. I was happy. So what elements of this film do you feel helped it become a classic? To me, is the dialogue that really makes this movie shine. It's unique. It's relatable. It's fun. So quotable. Like just such a quotable, iconic movie. Can you name any modern films that have the same elements? So for me, I kind of like really dug in on that quotable factor, and I chose 3 films that were similarly quoted for me. Braveheart was one.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight and Gladiator, I think, are all movies that are like you find a lot of really like epic, cool quotes. The fact that the acting is better in The Godfather than Braveheart.
Yes.
But the fact that it's on par with the acting from Gladiator, which was Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, and The Dark Knight, which is Heath Ledger and
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, says a lot about a movie that was made in 1972 and movies that were made in, what was Gladiator 99 and Dark Knight 2010, 2012.
I think Gladiator was 2000, or at least it won the Oscar for 2000. It might have been made in 99.
Well, I think it was released in 99. It won the Oscar for 2000.
Yeah.
So Dark Knight would have been 2011, I think. 2009. Did it win in 10 or 12?
It didn't win.
Oh, it got snubbed.
Yeah, that was one of the.
It got snubbed.
That was one of the biggest
Oscar
Oscar snubs in history.
Yikes. So, but the fact that it's on par says a lot about how the Godfather, how good that movie was, that film was. I gave The Godfather 4.5 stars. I don't think it was a perfect movie. I think it was a great movie. Especially, I think it's an iconic movie. I think it was probably a 5-star if I was watching this in 1972. Yeah. I probably think this movie's perfect. But because it's not 1972 and I'm looking at it from somebody living in this generation right now, I gave it 4.5 stars. But again, I
would you believe me that there's an argument to be made that Godfather 2 is better than Godfather 1?
No.
Well, Godfather 2 is arguably better than Godfather 1.
There's no way. I've never heard an argument for a sequel, like a true sequel, being better than the original.
It's pretty damn close. The third one's bad. Don't watch the third. Just, it was 100% made to make money off the name.
Yeah. Now, Al Pacino is still the guy in the second one, though.
Yeah. Okay. And it's him as
Savage.
As the Don.
Yeah.
Instead of his rise to power. And Dane, if you're watching, maybe hit us up in chat or DM us.
Yeah, let me know.
Do you like 2 better than 1? Or are you as steadfast 1 has to be better because it was the first one? But 2 is just as good, if not better than 1.
That's wild to me.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
I'll have to give it a watch, man.
You really should.
So I will do that. But guys, I was wrong. Kevin was wrong. I apologize to all of those people that I wronged in the past.
My favorite thing, I'm just sitting at work today and I get a text from Kevin. Maybe not today, maybe it was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
But he goes, so fun fact, the movie I thought was The Godfather was not The Godfather. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah. I was so confused when you would talk about that movie.
You said iconic scene in the first 10 minutes, and I'm like, there is no way any of that was iconic. And if so, it's just one of those things I'll never understand. I just won't get it or whatever. It's like art, you know? You just don't get it. You know, I thought that was me. Well,
Dane says 2 is a better movie.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'll definitely watch it. I will.
Yeah, you should.
So
I'm sure if you look through this book, there will be another reason to watch Godfather Part 2.
Yeah. I think you're right. So what I wanted to do, Jared, I wanted to give our viewers our next 8-ish or so movies that we're gonna watch.
Sure.
Did you have that ready?
Not for all of them, but for some of them.
Okay, that's fine. Just to give them an idea of our next few, everyone's a critics, so they can kind of either watch it or rewatch it if they'd like. So my low budget, big box office is the next one. And I have Mad Max for that, 1979.
All right, I'm going to do American Psycho.
Okay. Starring animals, I'm going to watch Old Yeller. I never saw it. I've only seen I've seen bits and pieces, iconic parts of scenes. Yeah. But the original 1957 Old Yeller, never sat down and watched all the way through. I'm gonna do that. And obviously, I know the storyline. It's famous.
Yeah. I have to find one starring animals
Sure.
because I know there's one I haven't seen, but like off the top of my head, I'm gonna have to do some research into because I want to watch a movie I haven't seen yet. I don't want to fall back on a movie I've like just pick a Disney movie and say, oh, it's got a billion talking animals. So I'm going to do a little more into maybe a movie I haven't seen.
Okay. Cool.
And do that.
Early film of a famous actor. I chose Robert Downey Jr. and I'll be watching Weird Science, 1985.
That is very young. I totally forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that film. It should be a lot of fun to watch. And I've heard good things about it. It seems like a fairly popular movie.
Yeah, I'm going to do What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Nice.
Young Johnny Depp and I think it's
young Johnny Depp.
Leonardo DiCaprio is like maybe his breakout role, his first movie.
Yeah.
So
cool. Movie with subtitles. I'll be watching Das Boot, 1981 film. I believe it's German, maybe French, but I think it's German.
I'm going to watch Train to Busan.
Oh, what language of origin do you know?
Korean, I think.
Korean.
It's a Korean zombie movie.
Oh, cool. Okay. For stop motion film, which is the next theme, 1996's Mars Attacks will be the one that I've chosen.
Okay. I'm going to do the Isle. Wes Anderson's The Isle of the Dog.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then set during an historic war. I've never seen this movie, but I've heard it's phenomenal. Lincoln, and it won the Oscar for Best Actor with what's that guy's name? Didn't he win it?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis. Didn't he win an Oscar that year for that?
I think so. It's either that or There Will Be Blood, the one he won.
Right.
I'm going to do Gone with the Wind.
Nice. Classic. Have you never seen Gone with the Wind?
Not all the way through. It's like
nice.
It's like a 3.5 hour movie.
Yeah, that has some long ones back then.
My dad said when he went to see it as a kid that they had an intermission and he thought the movie was over and his dad had to go grab him from walking to the car.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Independent film. I didn't realize this was an indie film, but Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey. I've heard so many things about that movie. I can't wait to watch it. I'm super excited. I heard his performance in that is incredible. And
pretty sure he won for that movie.
I think he might have, yeah. So I will be watching that. Go ahead.
I'm going to do Fruitvale Station.
Okay. Is that a newer indie film?
No, it was Michael B. Jordan's Sundance winner, I think.
Oh, cool.
I think it was also his kind of
coming out party.
I'm here role.
Nice.
So I'm pretty sure the same director did worked with him in Black Panther.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then family friendly movie. I chose The Secret Life of Bees. So I will be giving that a watch.
Okay. I'm gonna have to dig more into that one.
Okay. So those are just like the first 10 of the 52 week. So we'll as we continue on, we'll continue to update you guys with what it is we're gonna watch. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yes, I'm here.
So did you want to talk about anything coming out this week?
There's nothing coming out this week. January sucks for movies.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad?
Yeah, I think Andrew and I looked the other day.
Yikes.
Because Cyrano got pushed back to February. It was supposed to be this week.
That sucks. Yeah. I am looking forward to Peter Dinklage and Cyrano.
Yeah, the next movie that comes out is Jackass Forever next
Okay.
week.
We'll be watching that.
Yeah, we might have to do it on a Sunday. Um, I'm going to go out of town next week, so
Okay.
but I'll be back in Sunday.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, first off, I want to thank you for joining.
Yes.
Secondly, I am so interested in anything that you guys have to say, opinions, thoughts, some of your favorites, what you thought about our reviews, critiques, opinions. If you know me or Jarrett personally, send us a DM. Reach out to us, let us know. If you do not know us personally, we are on Facebook at Silence Your Cell Phones under the subcategory of podcast. We're on IG or Instagram, but the kids say IG. We're at Silence Your Cell Phones. If you want to email us, you can. We're Silence Your Cell Phone, no S, at gmail.com. We're also on YouTube. If you haven't yet done so, please like, subscribe, share. We love all the support that we get from you guys constantly. It's been tremendous. If you want to become more involved in our community, we do have a Patreon now. And so if you want to have more access to different things that we're going to do now and in the future, feel free to become a member. There's a bunch of different tiers. You sign up, and it's like a monthly subscription type thing. It's pretty cool, and it gives you guys access to a lot of different things. And then we have a Twitter now. We're doing the Twitter thing. I just created one this week. So it's fairly new, and it is at Silenced Phone. But if you just look up Silence Your Cell Phones, we'll be there.
Nice.
I also want to give a huge shout out to David Hammond, who created our logos, and I thought he did a phenomenal job.
They're sick.
They're really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Seriously, you've been tremendous. And so because of that, one last time, for those of you who might have a leak, some plumbing issues, please contact David Hammond at Bama Leak Detection. If you even think you have a leak or a leakage somewhere in your yard, he will bring Kona, is her name, and she's a beautiful puppy, and she will sniff out the leak for you. I'm not going to give his phone number on our podcast, but if you just Google Bama Leak Detection,
maybe we can get his business number or something.
Yeah. By all means, please do that. Contact David. He will help you out. He's a good dude.
He is.
And he'll be sure to help you out. So, Jarrett, look, other than that, I think that's everything I wanted to discuss today. I don't know if you had anything else.
I would. This is a more personal thing for me to the fans. And Kevin, you know about it. So the movie Trivia Schmodown that we enjoy watching so much is putting out a casting call for potential people to come on for their next season. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's essentially just a movie trivia league, something Kevin and I watch pretty rigorously. A lot of our favorite people, Dan Murrell, John Roca, Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis, they all run it or have been a part of it, competed, and they are doing an open casting call. I am coming to you, my friends, because I need help developing a persona for this. For those of you who know me, this is probably one of the most out of my comfort zones things I've ever asked for any help with. But if I'm going to shoot my shot, I'm going to shoot it now.
And you're going to do it right. You need a good persona.
Yeah, worst case, I can't say I didn't try.
All right.
So if you guys have any ideas, DM me, message me, call me, talk to me. I'm here for it all.
Yes.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's super exciting. And I'm not gonna have to ask you who your manager's gonna be if you make
Yeah,
it, right?
naturally.
Okay. As long as we're clear. I'd hate to have to get violent.
Yeah.
Except for with other managers, because I won't mind getting violent with them. So
Yeah,
anyways.
that's fair.
I'm getting into character already. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Super stoked.
And you said you don't like wrestling.
Yeah. No, I don't. But this I can get behind. This is really cool. So I'm so glad when I saw it, I sent it to you. I was like, dude, this is Jarrett. This is perfect for him. So yeah, please, if you have any ideas for a cool persona for movie trivia schmodown tryouts for Jarrett, please send them our way. I am pumped. We're gonna go all in for this. Like I'll get costume. I'll do the whole nine, bro.
Oh, nice.
Like, yeah, I'll shave my head, whatever I got to do.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know why I just said shave my head. It was kind of random, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I just want you to know
it's the dedication.
My hair is arguably my best feature, right? And I just want you to know that I would get rid of it. That was my dedication to this is can't be questioned. So
I appreciate it. And we have what till March to get in that
video?
think
I think so.
Okay, so we got a little time.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So,
all right.
Well, is that it? Are we good now?
That's it, man. I did the intro.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. As always, we're extremely grateful for all the love, all the support that we get regularly. And then we look forward to seeing you next week and seeing.
All right. For those of you who are still around, for live, we appreciate you. I'm about to cut the stream, so thank you. Until
Dab
next
City.
week.